In the heart of central London, next to the hustle and bustle of King's Cross, in a quiet churchyard, lies Sir John Soane, the revered British architect. Just a short tube journey away from this self-designed mausoleum lies one of Soane's greatest architectural marvels, the Bank of England. Though Soane's original design was largely demolished in the early 20th century, the legacy of his work still pervades. The bank was designed to ensure the creation of wealth in Britain, and has become a model on which most of the world's central banks are based. Soane's Holy Trinity Church, one of his few remaining structures in central London, was funded by an Act of Parliament that set aside £1 million to celebrate the British victory over Napoleon. The church follows Soane's typically neoclassical style. Note the Vitruvian columns, orderly design and central domed structure. This neoclassical style was one that Soane took to his grave. And it was this tomb that later directly inspired Sir Giles Gilbert Scott in 1924, when Scott was invited to design what would become one of the most iconic symbols of Britain in the 20th century, the Great British Phone Box.
More calls to handle meant more jobs to do.
Now we are the masters of our
It's part of our history, and that's really what it comes down to. It's associated with the UK and Britain, and it has to stay. You know, it has to stay. I know there's got to be change, but that's what we're doing. We're evolving with them, so you know we're trying to keep them there. But I think it's very important, very important. We came up with the concept 3.5 years ago to adopt the red phone boxes from BT, and the first people to come up with the idea of a commercially viable solution to turn them into generating revenue and maintaining them for the future. We were market traders in Brighton, and we came up with the idea when we walked along the seafront and found 2 red phone boxes empty, vandalised, and not very good state of repair by the pier. And we thought if we could sell sunglasses or hats or some dry goods from that spot, then what a great business idea. Since then, we've now achieved 130 sites that we've now purchased. They have electric supplies and they have different uses, from A1 retail, so souvenirs, ice cream, coffee, e-cigarettes, what was the other, mobile phone chargers, and a bratwurst sausage store, which, yeah, out of a red phone box, German red phone box. We get a lot of young entrepreneurs coming forward. We have a lot of students coming forward looking for startups, this kind of stuff. The reason they like the red phone box concept is because of the history, and it draws people to it. Before you even open the door, you've got tourists taking a photo, guaranteed at least 5 times a day. So without even trying, you've already got a client base coming to your door. This is one of our sites so if you can imagine, when you walked into the kiosk, you'd have an LCD screen, you'd have the Wi-Fi, coffee facilities for all the members. It's just going to be a one-stop, secure office for entrepreneurs on the move. This phone box was actually refurbished 4 or 5 weeks ago. Probably needs looking at again already, you know. So it's a constant battle all the time. It's quite sad to see it when it looks like that, isn't it? It's a shame.
Later, Eddie took me to see one of his refurbished phone boxes, a hot dog vendor in town run by 3 of his young entrepreneurs. While I was there, I felt there was a strange contradiction between Eddie's talk of preserving our culture and the creation of a new one. My heart wants to support his business, but I think doing so seems to reaffirm that today all of society's values need a bottom line. Our phone boxes used to keep us connected to one another, and now an exclusive entrepreneurial members club with self-serving coffee and Wi-Fi is replacing them. In Westminster, I watched as the tourists posed for photos with immaculately preserved phone boxes.
And the argument I made back in the 90s was that countries and cities have got images. And I made a parallel with the commercial marketplace. I said that they have brand images, just like products. And just like products, the brand image of a country or a city is its most valuable asset because it's the only thing that people really know about it. They don't know what the majority of countries and cities really have to offer, but they certainly know what they believe about them. And so paradoxically, perception in the age of globalization has become more important than reality.
Our national identity is a nation brand, and these icons of our heritage are now perceived by their market value. But what is a national identity in the first place? Why keep these phone boxes on our streets other than to remind us of where we are? A banal presence in our everyday lives that unifies us unconsciously. Who stands to benefit from this sense of togetherness? And this national unity reveals another side when times are severe. When thinking about our history and identity, I recall the thought I had while filming John Soane's architecture. It struck me that so many of London's landmarks sought to emulate the Parthenon. These neoclassicists saw something in the spirit of the ancient Greeks that they thought British values captured. They harked back to a golden age, and this golden age seems to have found its way onto our streets. But should we focus on these symbols of a glorified ideal, or should we face our present reality and escape a life of myth? I spoke to Eddie about the KX100 phone box in the 80s.
The glass ones, when they came out, so it was a new thing. It was like, clean, it was all nice and fresh, new handsets, all that kind of stuff. But they became very dirty very quickly. And I'm sure BT, they probably cost more money to maintain than the red ones. However, they are getting revenue on the back of advertising, so it's probably balanced themselves out. But if the advertising wasn't there, I don't think you'd see half as many of them as you do now.
Then a great nation we shall be and shall remain. To those waiting with bated breath for that favourite media catchphrase, the U-turn, I have only one thing to say. U-turn if you want to. The ladies not for turning.
Begins at home. Jesus Christ came and died for our sins. We are rejecting the Messiah. We are repenting of our own knowledge. You don't have Jesus.
It's just very 80s style, isn't it? The fashion, the architecture. It's very sort of, I can't think of the best word. It's just not a red phone box.